Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, guys. We're live. If you're new into this channel, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mamadou Diallo. If you're new into this channel, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Today, every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST, we go live and talk about all things Airbnb. And today, I want to talk about a specific topic that, everybody, I get a lot of DMs right now from people that are fairly new in the real estate space and in the Airbnb space, in general. And a lot of them are wondering if 2023 is a good time to actually get into the hospitality business. Because remember, guys, even last week on the last week episode, we're talking about how when it comes to Airbnb is just the platform. Airbnb is not the business, right? You have to look at yourself as somebody who is in the hospitality business. And so with that being said, there's multiple platforms where you can actually monetize off of your hospitality business. You got to treat this as a business. So don't just never only count on one stream of income, even in one space. Like we do real estate, we do a lot of wholesaling, we do fix and flips, we do all type of creative strategies, but I don't count on just one stream of income within real estate itself. I don't just count on wholesaling. I'm counting on wholesaling. I'm counting on my fix and flips. I'm counting on my joint venture deals. I'm counting on agent outreach. I'm counting on my creative strategies and my creative exit strategies on top of the acquisition strategies, right? I'm counting on my consulting business. I'm counting on my virtual assistant business, right? All those things, you cannot just rely on one single source of income. Doesn't matter what business you're in, and that doesn't change in the hospitality business. So are you just doing purely Airbnb, or are you having multiple streams of income within the hospitality business? Because that's what it's all about, right? And so today we're going to talk about, is 2023 a good time to get into this space? That's number one. Number two, is the market going down? And if so, why? And number three, we're going to talk about, who are the actual people that are winning in this space with this down market. Because the good thing, guys, about a down market is that it shows you the people that treat their business as a business and not a hobby. All right. So the people that are going to stand out is the people that treat this as a business, not a hobby. Because when the market was up, right, everybody was like traveling all over. A lot of people, started working from home. So they were traveling all over until the jobs started calling people back home and saying, now you got to get your ass to the office. Shit, I think I shouldn't have used that word, but anyway. Right, guys? So with that being said, on the up market, everybody and their mom was doing Airbnb. Put one carpet, one couch, paint, and just throw it on Airbnb because, right now is booming, right? But on the down market, though, that's not going to work. On the down market, the people that's going to win is the people that are professionals, the people that stand out, the people that treat it as a business and not as a hobby. That's just the bottom line. And so, every single Tuesday, guys, again, if you're new into the channel, we go live on this YouTube channel and we talk about all things Airbnb, gives you tips and tricks to underwrite your deals. And if you ever need any other type of help in terms of design, furnishing, how you find the best furniture at a low cost, we'll be able to give you those resources as well. And so my guy Hung will be there in a few minutes. He's a little bit late. So we're going to break down some deals, okay? Some actual Airbnb properties that, at one point they were doing bad and then they started doing well. Like what happened, right? Why were they doing bad? And then why are they doing well right now? And also the people that are actually losing money right now in Airbnb, why is that? There's a lot of people that are closing shop because they didn't know what they were doing in the first place. It's not that necessarily Airbnb is bad right now, is they didn't know what they were doing in the first place, right? They were doing a lot of amateur work. And now the market is, testing those people that are not professionals, number one. Second, don't have systems in place, okay? Number three, they're not treating it as a business, right? They're treating it as a pastime, hobby, side hustle type of thing, all right? So I see my guy Hung right here. He's in the building.
What's going on, guys?
What up? What up, bro? So guys, as I said, every single Tuesday, guys, if you're new to this channel, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hong, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let's get into it.
What is going on, guys? My name is Hung Mai. I am a short-term rental expert, and I acquired 15 short-term rental units within 15 months of operating and working in this space. And so it's been super fun and rewarding to be here with Mamadou.
Let's go. So guys, so Hung, today we're going to talk about like everybody, I got so many DMs from people saying, hey, is this really the right time for me to start to getting into the space, trying to get my first or second or third Airbnb. And again, like I said, I really don't like using the word Airbnb. I do like using the word hospitality, because that's what it is. That's the business people are in, and people get it confused. It's just so many different platforms where you can monetize your property in. But one of the trending themes and questions right now is people asking, is this really the good time to get in? Because it seems like there's a lot of people losing money in this space. The market is slow right now, and so on and so forth. Like, should I really start getting into Airbnb right now, where everybody is crying and their Airbnbs is not performing? So I want to get into this, Hung. So I want to talk about number one, what's going on in the market, right? Because we have all these Airbnbs on the market. We have some of them that was doing good, and then they started doing bad, and then some things was done to fix it. Some mistakes on some other properties that was done right from the get-go, right, in certain things, and then after that we were able to fix it. But like, I'm sure you also, on top of offering management services, we get hit with a lot of people that goes, my property is not performing, hasn't been performing for 12 months. Like, what's going on? Like, I think I'm doing everything right. Can you guys go on my calendar, look at my listing, tell me what I'm doing wrong? What's going on? I'm losing money. I'm not making money right now. So that's what I want to talk about today. Let's get into it. Hung, what do you think is happening in the market? Is this still a good time for a new person to get into this space? And if so, what are what are the steps they need to take to make sure to ensure that they're actually going to be successful in this space, even on a down market?
Yeah, for sure. And I think right now it's a great opportunity to get into the space, just because for the last two for the last kind of like 2 years or so, it's really the golden age. Like, it was just everything that you put on Airbnb just performed, because there was this big um kind of like a hold up of resistance because of regulations and traveling, and tell the media telling people, oh, they should stay in, they shouldn't go anywhere. And so people have been stuck up for a really, really long time. And so when they finally were able to travel again, like, they traveled like crazy. Like, they traveled like crazy, and paying ridiculous fees. I mean, I couldn't tell you the amount of money that everyone was making. And you could just put anything on there, and it would have just like worked. But now I think people have a different connotations if they've been looking at it for like the past year and a half, 2 years, versus what's going on now. Is because um, what happened in the last 2 years is not normal. Like, that is not the normal kind of yield and returns that people are typically expecting. But if they compare it from the last 2 years to now, yes, you're going to see a decrease in occupancy. You're going to see a decrease in like ADR, which is average daily rate, on the average of the days that was booked versus how much they actually paid for it. Um, but really, now what you're really seeing is that it's just going back down to normal, like what the normal occupancy is, what the normal demand is. It's just that if you compare it, even within the last year, I just saw a article from AirDNA. They just came out and they said that what is it? travel demand are at a increase of 23% year over year, from even from last year. So
Wow.
it people are still traveling, but it's just that, it might be pockets of certain markets that are, affected more than others, obviously. Um, and so you kind of just have to take that into consideration. And if your property haven't been revamped within the last, I would say 2-3 years, maybe now it's a good time to kind of do that. If you're going into your slow season, like I tell people that for the last 6 months that was asking me about it, is that, three things you should do. I think one is making sure that you 100% get professional photos, like phone photos, no matter how great they are. Do not cheap out
You're
on it.
telling
Like
me.
you just spent $20,000 or $30,000 on furnishing these properties, and
Hold
you
on.
think that
So
your phone is good enough.
you're telling me if I have an iPhone 12 Pro, 14 Pro, what else is there right now?
Yeah,
13
it's the
14
14.
Pro.
Yeah, yeah.
You're telling me I paid 1,200, but I cannot use it to
I'm
take
telling you,
pictures on my
it is not the
Airbnb.
same. It is not the same, okay? It's like I'll tell you this. It's like you going out and eating a really nice pizza at a Michelin star restaurant, and then you come home and you think you can replicate it. Okay? Like it's not the same thing, okay? Even though
Oh,
you know what goes on there, it's not the same thing. So
yeah,
that's one. And then two is that you need to have a healthy budget for design, because nowadays, as the supplies kind of like start to go down a little bit, but with all the supply that's been there for the last 2 years, with people that are just coming in, thinking that they could just kind of like make it a side thing, which is great. Like I definitely think that's possible as well. But you won't be able to do that anymore with the supply, either staying the same as it is, or still, increasing, every day. It's going to be really tough to compete in that arena if supply stays the same, but then demand goes down. Because if demand goes down and supply stays the same, well, the only ones that are going to, get chosen are the cream of the crop, basically, right? And
right,
so
right.
you want to be in that arena, to even be considered. Because, like, for instance, if you're in Arizona right now, and let's say we're going to go into the summer months, it is hot like nobody's business over there in the summer. And if you don't have a pool, you're not even in the arena, okay? Because it's so hot that it just doesn't make sense,
So,
and
so,
it'd
so
be really
hold on.
tough.
Hold on, right? So let's slow it down for the person that just got in newbie that don't even know what we're talking about. Guys, we're talking about everybody right now wondering if they should get into the Airbnb space. The market is slowing down. Everybody's crying. A lot of people crying that their Airbnbs are not performing. The listings is doing poor. What are they doing wrong? Guys, we have so many people reach out to us daily, and they want us to go on their calendar and review their listing and see what the hell is going on. I have a lot of investors. Even one of them, Hung, is a guy that at one point when I was first starting in wholesaling, I was trying to wholesale his property. That's how we got connected. He ended up not being a good fit, but we stayed in touch. Even him recently, he reached out about some help reviewing his Airbnbs, how they're doing, and maybe also reviewing and seeing some of his other rentals. How can he turn them into Airbnb? But here's the thing, guys. We also want to make sure that if you're new into the space and you don't even understand what we're talking about here, because you don't even have a property yet, right? The point that Hong is talking about right now is doing market research. You gotta do market research. Just think about it. If you are in the wholesaling space, at some point you sat down and researched what type of application do I need to have? How do I drive for dollars? How do I upload those properties? How do I skip trace them? How many leads does it take to close a deal? Right? You did some market research. You went to meetups. you talk to people to understand how does wholesaling work, how do I get my first deal, and how do I make sure I create systems around it. And so if you're getting into the hospitality, guys, we're not talking about Airbnb here. We're talking about the hospitality business. You have Airbnb, midterm rentals, assisted living, sober living. There is so many of them. There's so many ways. The Airbnb we got in Clinton right now. Somebody just reached out. They said they want it for a midterm, even though we have it as an Airbnb. Somebody reached out and they want it as a midterm, and it's the same business space. And there's so many different ways to monetize it. Some of Airbnb, Hung's Airbnbs in Dallas, Texas, people been there for like 3 months paying 15 grand a month, right? Those are not Airbnb hosts. So you're in the hospitality business, but are you doing market analysis? Are you doing market research to understand what's going on with this market and who is winning? Are you going on Airbnb and checking other people, your competition? Let's say you're getting a property in Orlando, Florida. Are you going and looking at other listings in that area and seeing what your competition is doing? Now, you see, most people, they only go and watch the high performers, which we don't do that, guys. We also watch the poor performer, because a wise man once says, how I became wise is by just watching the unwise. I decided I'm not going to do anything the unwise is doing. Like, I just, you know what I mean? So anything the poor listings are doing, you don't want to do it. Then you watch the high listings, the one that is performing the best, and you want to find out, how do I outperform that person, not compete. Do not get caught up on this competition BS. You don't last long competing. How do I outperform? All right. So, guys, what we're talking about here, absolutely, this is the right time to get into it. But I think this point is so great. It's for a newbie to understand, Hung. Again, if you're new into this channel, guys, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Let us know if you're enjoying this and what else you want to hear about. Also, if you have questions, put it in a comment and we'll answer it. We'll even bring you on here, actually, and answer it on the stage. But Hung, your point is really great. It's like, if somebody is new right now and they don't even know, like, why is everybody complaining right now, right? I do like the fact that, one, to me, this is my personal opinion, I think down markets are really good because you weed out the people that just are lazy, right? They don't take it serious. They don't treat anything as a business. And you that is grinding and treating it as a business, you're being hurt in a good market because you're competing with all these clowns, right? Everybody and their mom is on Airbnb, when they should be reaching out to Airbnb professionals and let those people manage their properties, and they just share the piece of the pie instead of wasting people's time, right? And so, I just wanted to, so I want to slow down for the newbies so they don't get lost, right? Remember, there's be people watching here that don't even know what we're talking about. So what you're talking about right now, to me, sounds like is market research, market analysis, understanding your market and seeing, what are people doing wrong, what are people doing right. You just said, I read an Airbnb article. Who does that? A professional. All right, go on, Hung.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're looking for markets to kind of go into, I think if you're looking for, I love you, Daryl. If you're looking for markets to go into, I would definitely recommend markets that are easy to travel to. And when I say easy, I'm talking about like either national parks or just maybe outside of like major cities, or beachfront that are near other states as well. Like, for instance, Destin, Florida is in the Panhandle. Like, in Florida, if you think about it, if like I'm in Orlando and I have properties in Orlando, and we're about to we're looking at another 3 right now. But if I'm in Orlando, like I know my market, so I don't sweat about it. But if I'm in Orlando, well, most people that come to Orlando, about 80 to 90% of the time, they are coming by flying. They're not riding their bike here. Okay, so if something like a recession happens, well, the first thing that most people cut back on is leisure travel. So that's going to definitely take a hit on my market as a short-term rental, depending on what kind of guest or avatar that I really target at, right? However, if I'm in Destin, Florida, it's still in Florida, but it's up in the Panhandle. So like, let's just say like this is Florida, like a weird shape, right? The Panhandle is up here. Well, if you have to go into Orlando, you got to fly all the way into Florida, right?
Mm.
And but if you're trying to go to Destin, Florida, well, you can if you can't fly to Destin, Florida, you can still drive from Texas, from Louisiana, from Georgia, from Alabama, right? It's only like
Bro.
a 4 or 5 hour drive if you're coming with a big group or whatever,
So
right?
location
So that's
basically.
so location really is a big difference. So like if you think about like the Smokies are a really really great like and very mature travel destination. Like those are a lot more insulated in terms of like a recession if something were to happen,
But
because
bro,
people
but
can
wait,
still
huh?
drive there.
But how about if somebody go, no, there's a lot of competition there. How do I get properties in the Smoky Mountains? So many competition. Like how somebody's crying like a baby right now. Oh, I can't get deals out there. It's too competitive. How
Hmm.
are people getting deals there?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely tougher for sure, but you gotta have like a little bit of grit, because a lot you now it's a good time to look for good deals too, because some of these people that have been in there for the last maybe 2 years or so, they have um really haven't really updated their property per se. So let's say they started about 2 years ago, like in the
Mm.
pandemic, and everything was great, but they literally just put in furniture, like whatever that they had available, and it just worked, right? But now that
Right.
it's a little bit tougher, but they think like there's something wrong. Well, if you come in with a fresh set of eyes and what you see compared to others, you can tell what's wrong with it. It might not be furnished well, it might not be designed well, it just looks old and dated. The pictures they took are dark, and
Mhm.
in the middle of the night when that was the best time they could take pictures, that sort of thing. It's
Right.
it's really hard for them a lot, even for us, right? Like when we have our flaws, it's hard for us to see our own flaws because
It's hard.
we think we're perfect. I mean, who says that they have an ugly baby? No one does, right? I mean, I heard this one quote. It's like even the best brain surgeon in the world can't perform on himself,
Yeah, 100%.
right? So
100%.
you need others people eyes to kind of like take a look at it and give it a different perspective for sure. And even for me, like when I see something wrong with my listing, I don't think my baby is ugly. I
Right.
know that I can't see it sometimes because I'm biased and I just think everything is really great. So even
Yep.
sometimes I go to my peers in the space and I ask them like, hey, like what's something that I'm doing wrong, or
I'm
what
doing
do you
wrong.
think that I could improve?
Guys, this is so like Hung, this topic you're talking about right here. The other day I was in a Grant Cardone mastermind. Dude, he said like so when he bring a guest that is like an e-commerce or marketing genius, like heavy hitter, right? There's nobody that outperforms Grant as far as work ethic. Like that guy is the best. But
Mm-hmm.
he's sitting there and he's saying, dude, what do you see I'm doing wrong online? Like, what am I doing wrong? You can tell Grant, he's not even looking at the audience. He's looking at the guy and he's taking freaking notes. Guy is almost a billionaire, right? Probably have about over 4 to 5 billion in real estate right now. So, guys, if I have to start in this market right now and I want leads, Airbnb leads, hospitality type of business leads in great markets, super competitive markets, here's one craft that I'm learning right out the gate is how do I go and look at listings? How do I study listings? You guys think it's easy. It's absolutely not easy. You need to know what you're doing. If you don't know how to go into somebody's listing, go over the calendar and dig deeper and see why they're doing poor compared to the other ones that are doing well. Like, guys, those are your leads. Like, call these people, get in touch with these people, and offer them, number one, your services, right? If you don't have them, refer them to somebody, right? We have those services if you don't. But like you can generate so many leads like that going just on people's listings that are doing poor, and going to these people and tell them, hey, I can take your property from 2,500 to 3,500. I can take your Airbnb listing from 3 grand to 6 grand. This is what you're doing wrong. I see this in the video editing space, Hung. I'm sure you get these DMs too. People DM you and go, hey, do you know what you could do better with your reels? I love your content. By the way, if you want to work with me, schedule a call. Dude, I'm not scheduling a damn call with you. What you should be doing is going through my videos, take my videos, edit them, show me what I'm doing wrong. You send me a link where I can go and watch those videos and be happy about what you just produced for free. By the way, you don't charge me up for, I don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
This is why most people that are in branding and video editing and stuff, they don't build businesses. They work for people their whole life because they don't know how to do, they don't know how to like do business. They don't know how to, get a customer. They just DM you they all have the same scripts. Did you think of, no, I didn't. It's not my job to think. Right? So it's the same thing in this Airbnb space. Go on people's listings, learn how to do it, go study their calendar, see what they're doing wrong, and reach out to those people, because I promise you there's a lot of people right now throwing the towel. Another thing you need to be aware of, a lot of these people, even if they wanted to fix it, they don't have the money. So if you learn, if your network is right and you learn how to get the money, you can go get these people to give you their properties because you know how to go get the money, come and make it better, make the furnishing better, make the designs better, and make the property perform better. Right? This is called co-hosted. I think that's what it's called, Hung, right? Mm-hmm. I promise you that's what I will be doing in all these like destination heavy markets. You will outcompete. There is a lot of people that are not sitting down and doing this. And I know another strategy that Hung brought up last time was to go list yourself as a property manager in some site. I forgot, but that was like, maybe you should keep that secret for now, Hung. If you take a screenshot of this and you tag me and Hung in all the social platforms and you share it, we'll share that secret with you. I don't want you to repeat. That was so good. Nobody's doing that. I'm 100% sure.
No.
Yeah, go ahead, Hung. So your point, Hung, like people need to like be resourceful.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
And there's a reason why a market is competitive is because that's where you should be. Like, why would you go open a Starbucks when nobody drinks coffee? That wouldn't make sense, right?
I mean, and I mean, nowadays you just have to get creative with a lot of things. I mean, I just saw a reel yesterday that I sent to someone, and it was someone in the multifamily space, and what they did was they like for properties for multifamily projects that were in the C or D category, right, in the C or D neighborhoods that has like high crime rate or whatever. What they did, it's so genius. They took a advertisement and said for all cops that sign a lease within the next month or so, they will give 50% off on rent on the first month of rent. And so like they had like 5 cops sign the lease, and now they have cops on the perimeter that lives in the units, right? And so eventually all the drug dealers and all the X, Y, and Z, they started like just leaving. And then what they did was on the corner unit, they put donuts, and they made a sign, advertisement sign said free donuts for all cops. So throughout the day, cops are always coming in and out of this property. So like they always have like security at this property all the time. And then eventually they put like a tutoring center in one of their like lower unit center, like down at the bottom. So now they're attracting families into there. And so what happens is like throughout this whole time as they're doing that and they stabilize the property, now they got security and they have families living in there. And so like within a 2-3 mile radius, they have the safest neighborhood in a C or D area neighborhood. And I just think that was a super genius like resourcefulness
That is
that you
called
can do.
a marketing, bro. That is called the marketing genius.
Isn't
That is
that
pure
crazy?
marketing. That is
Right.
pure marketing, by the way, guys. That is so freaking genius.
So genius, right?
Oh my
So
gosh.
genius. So you have to be like that, right? And I
Whoa.
always get inspirations from everywhere. So like stuff like that, you can pull inspiration from. I always take inspiration from everywhere that I look. And so, with that being said, you might think that Airbnb and VRBO or booking.com is the only platform you can book on. But have you ever thought about putting your listing on Zillow or Redfin or realtor.com as a
Boom.
fully furnished lease
Boom.
property,
Yeah.
right? People are willing to do that, and by you putting it there, you're getting leads every single day
Every single day.
about people that might be interested to stay there for a longer term stay.
Yeah. You gotta go the extra mile. You gotta go the extra mile. All these things that we're talking about here, guys, like if you don't know how to market, this thing called marketing, everybody, guys, like even your church is marketing to you for you to wake up and go on Sunday at church, and then they start selling you Jesus in that church. It's everything in life is all about marketing and sales, marketing and sales, marketing and sales. So the post that Hung just talked about, this is, oh my God, Hung, this is so
So
good.
genius, right?
So this guy is it a guy, Hung?
Is a guy, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this guy has an Airbnb in a D area neighborhood. If you guys don't know what a D area is, D area usually is areas where you don't necessarily want to invest in. Everybody tell you to stay away from. Why? Because it's high crime
You do
areas.
not want to walk there at night, basically.
That's right. That's like going certain areas in Baltimore. If you go to do a property walk through in certain areas in Baltimore, you're getting robbed. All right. So you don't want to go there unless you're with a pit bull and a gun. And even then, maybe you don't want to try it. But this is in the D area. So instead of saying, hey, I'm going to throw the towel, I'm just going to give up on the Airbnb stuff. What he did is, and look how he advertised this thing. Oh my God, this is so good. So he put out basically a reel saying, hey, every single cab that sign up within this month for a lease in my units will get 50% off on rent.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, do you know what is the average salary of a cop a year? A police officer? These people don't make money, man. Like that's a huge advertisement. 50% off. And guess what happened next? 5 cops sign up. Now, his intention in his mind is to secure his block.
Yeah. So and it's a multi-family too. It's a multi-family.
Bro. And so the sign up, he get caps on that, block now on the unit. And so now, because there is caps living in here, it drives out all the drug dealers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing he does, oh shit, this is working. Why am I going to stop what's working and do what's not working? This is the same thing, Hung, when sometimes people in the space where we are, like in the wholesaling business or real estate in general, but like people start in the wholesaling business, right? They get their first deal through driving for dollars, right? And guess what is the next thing they do? They stop driving for dollars. They start sending direct mail, and then they want to try paperclip, and like the driving for dollars just worked. You just made $10,000 off of driving for dollars. You should go back to that neighborhood and drive the whole freaking neighborhood. The first neighborhood where I got my first deal, Hung, I got my 3 first deals in that neighborhood.
Oh wow!
All of them probably 3 blocks away from each other, because I knew, like, this is where I found my diamonds. Why am I going to look somewhere else? I'm going back there, right? And so this guy, now this ad works with the cops. He cleaned the unit. Now he does the same thing with the donut next door, which we're not going to get into. But it's the same thing, bro. I think it was Jim Rohn. I forgot who. But like he was always like, going to Broadway in New York. And every time there is always a shoe shiner. The shoe shiner always, he's stopping people. And this guy always, I think it was Les Brown. And he always tells the guy, no, I'm in a rush. Right. So what that shoe shiner started doing is he would start counting. So as you're coming toward him, you start counting 99, 100, and then he will look at you and go, oh, you are number 100, and you go, what is 100? Well, I decided whoever is number 100 on my b-day, I will give them a shoe shine for free.
Wow, genius.
And then he does it for free, and then Les Brown decides, you know what, let me just give him, whatever, you give him $10 or whatever. And then Les Brown, as he walk away, he heard the guy recounting again.
He started counting again.
Marketing genius.
Yes.
Guys, everything, it's like and the reason I'm so passionate about this right now is because I'm starting to understand it more even now. Like, guys, branding, marketing precedes sales. Stop work. You need to learn how to market yourself. You need to learn, and the way to do that right now, if you go on all these listings, if you you don't even need to know what you're doing. You just need to know people that know what they're doing.
Right.
Go and find people that are poorly doing either on their Airbnb listings, or people that have properties for rent for multiple months and is not renting, and tell these people you will take this property, put it on the Airbnb platform, monetize it, give them a little bit of the piece of the pie. And you, man, but you gotta be resourceful. You gotta be resourceful. Yeah. So here's what I want to do before we bounce out of here. Today is the unbreakable challenge. I don't want to miss that. Here's what I want to do, Hung. Do you have one listing maybe we can tell them about that was doing poorly, and show them maybe just like 3 things that they were doing wrong, maybe like on the screen share if you want.
Yeah,
and then say, this is what we're doing to fix that. And then the next thing is we're gonna give them all the resources and everything that we have that they can come to us for, and then we'll announce for the next show what we're doing. And I think somebody had a question here. Let me see. So I wonder if you can acquire Airbnb homes business from people ready to get out or quit. Yeah, bro. Kadir, that's your best client, is the people that are quitting. Guess what? My best deals came from tired landlords. They were tired. I'm done. Right? So, Hung, let's go. Let's talk about the listing because it's starting at 1 p.m. 10 more minutes, bro. Let's go really quick on the listing that you know, hey, they were doing this wrong. Now this is what we're doing to fix it, right? Give people tips and tricks, and then boom, the services we bring in for people. So we're going to talk about that next. And then, guys, don't forget, if you're new into this channel, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please leave in the comment also what topic you want to hear about, guys. And give us some feedback. What are we doing wrong? I would really like to know, please. It is the lighting.
Yeah, and then also too, it's like also too, it's like if you have a listing that you'd like us to check out right now, put it in the link below, like put it in the comments, and if you do it quick enough, we will check it out right now for you, just to see if there's anything that we can do to kind of help. And so yeah,
that's actually even better.
Link. Yeah, put your link in the comments below, and Mamadou will pick one out, and we'll go through it together and see
who has what we can do. Listing you want us to look at right now. Put it in the chat. We'll look at it. We'll look at your listing and tell you if you're doing it good or you're doing it wrong. Right. Oh, anybody? I see handsome Daryl here. Daryl probably has one.
A lot of complex to keep the area safe.
Daryl, come on, Mr. Ellison. Come on, Mr. Ellison. Kadir is new, so he probably don't. Eric, do you got one? I don't think we have any. Let me see. Maybe on YouTube, people that are watching on YouTube. We got a lot of people watching on YouTube. Okay, not on YouTube neither. All right. So anyway, if somebody posts it, we'll pick it. But for now, let's pick one you already have.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I can. Okay. So I think one thing that I can look at right now is let me see. Let me find it really quick. Okay, so here, I click this one. Let me find it really quick.
Julie, come on, man. I got a better smile than Daryl. Stop playing with me, man. Daryl ain't got them dimples. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding, man. Daryl is my guy. Handsome with the waves.
Okay.
Got the waves, got the smile. Holy moly. Come on, Daryl.
All right. Let me see. Okay. So
oh, we got one, bro.
Oh, we got one. Okay.
Is that okay. Let me see. How do I get it to you though? Ha. Now the question is, how do I get it to you, Mr. Hunk? Oh, maybe on the Facebook comments, right?
Yeah. Where can you copy and paste that onto a chat or send it over to my text
Yeah,
message or
let me
something like
try
that?
it. Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
see.
because I really want to do this in real time. So just to
Yeah, that
see.
would be dope.
Oh,
That's even
and if you can send us your address as well, we might be able to deep a little bit uh, more as well for that area.
oh, the address for the property.
Yeah, if possible. If not, no worries.
Okay. Let me see. Bam. Gosh, I'm trying to copy it. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, I mean, so figure that out. In
Oh,
the meantime, I'm just gonna walk through one of mine real quick and what we did to kind
Kadir,
of like stay competitive.
Kadir, can you DM me to me please on Messenger?
Yeah.
Kadir,
Okay.
DM me the listing on Messenger, and then I'll give it to him.
Here we go.
Kadir used to be a cop.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah, I mean, great.
Luckily,
Again.
we weren't saying anything bad about cops. We're going to jail.
Okay, so let me.
Boom! I got the listing, bro.
Okay.
Okay, Hung, I
That
got you
work?
on Messenger, right?
Okay.
Hung Mai. See, I just sent it, I think, to you on
Okay. Let
Messenger.
me see.
So,
Okay.
guys, what we're doing right now, we're picking a listing in the crowd from my guy Kadir, who used to be an ex-cop. Bro, if you used to be an ex-cop, you're probably one of the only cop that was making a lot of money. You need to become one of my private lenders, Kadir. I see you. You look like a money guy, bro.
we I've had a lot of people reach out to me recently too, and that they ask me like should they do arbitrage or should they do buy and hold,
Yeah.
and I think it just depends on like what the person's goal is really.
All right.
Um, let me see.
Guys, the difference between arbitrage and owning the property is being in an open relationship, and then owning the property is basically getting married, right? Like what you're into. But the arbitrage model, so you want to mix it. That's the thing I was talking about earlier, guys. Don't count on one stream of income, but you also don't want to have the whole portfolio of arbitrage. Like your whole portfolio is arbitrages. Like if this thing goes south, or the owners decide to go sleep with somebody else and cheat on you, you're screwed. So you got to mix it up. You cannot just have all of them be arbitrages. Like you mix it up. They're all a different business how do you call it? They're all different type of business, but they're also a different streams of flow of income. That's how I look at it. To me, it's like why do one thing? Do it all. Like they're all
Mhm.
good, but just don't have a portfolio full of properties you don't own. That's the only thing. Like that's probably a little bit. I know a lot of people preaching out here that they're doing 150 grand a month on arbitrage. Guys, they're doing 100 and 150 in arbitrage coaching. Okay, coaching, not
Yeah.
owning the property. Trust me, they're not. Hung, you and I know. We watched the episode recently. We're like, what? How you make so much money with 5 properties? You come on, bro.
I know. I mean, I mean, I'm seeing people on Instagram that are like, I see them on interviews on how much they make, and then I go and I check them out, and like, they're like, yeah, we have 12, 15 properties in one city. I'm like, that's not a million a year. Like,
Yeah.
like that's probably a million a year, maybe like, or a million a month in like coaching or whatever. And I'm like, that's astronomical.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
Yeah.
it's it's hard to hate on them because the thing is, they are helping people to get out of their situation. And if you are able to help people do what it is that you
I
do,
don't,
like,
me, bro. I don't hate on anybody. Let me tell you something. If you're making money out here coaching people, you deserve that money. I don't care,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because
I mean,
you
you're
are
changing someone's life. Like you're changing someone's
and
life.
then also like you're doing the thing, you're marketing yourself. I'm sorry, like if somebody's
Right.
sitting on your couch watching Netflix all day and complaining about somebody making money on guys, they deserve that money. All I'm saying is like, the properties, like owning, like the properties, the way you look at it, guys, always look at how can I have multiple streams of income, not just one, not just one. So I can have the arbitrages, the properties that I own. I can be a co-host. I can manage other people's properties. These are all different streams and flows of income. Cash flow, baby. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Yeah. So, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna look through this, property real quick. First things first. First 5 photos. I like the hero photo, good one. I I like. I would even debate that between this and this. I kind of even like this a little bit better, just
I like
because it
that one
shows that
better.
you're right by the lake, right?
Yeah. That one looks good.
But overall, it's hard to choose between the two. These three, I don't know if I would choose these three, to be honest. Well, let's just check, right? So I would go in here. The photos are a little bit dark. I think what you could do is take these photos and go into what is it, like Lightroom or something, and just brighten these up. Like I think like even
Ooh.
my own photographers, when they come into my properties, they think that it's edited and then I can just take that and put it in. But even then, I take my edited photos of my photographers and I still put it in Lightroom and I still make it a little bit brighter. Not too much where like it makes the color of something obnoxiously bright and abnormal, but enough to where like it brightens up the whole house, right? Like you still want to keep a sense of reality. I think might be a good time for this to be like revamped. I mean, I see that it's a really good, nice house. It's functional, really great stuff. Again, I would just maybe like revamp the space and just give it a little bit of extra paint, because there's no color that really pops out at you, right? Like for instance, I promise you, if you just paint all these cabinets white and then give it like put new handles in them, they would just pop out like crazy,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like little things like that really. What's that?
The property is beautiful. It's just
Yeah,
that
the property is beautiful. It's just that it needs a little bit of more color. Like for instance, here, if you paint all of this, like this would just comes out so beautifully, and you get something that complements it with the black. Uh, I don't know, I forgot what these are called, but the countertops.
Mhm.
It would be really great. I see that there is like a lot of like miscellaneous stuff. For example, like here, I'm not sure what this is. Let's see. So one other thing that I would recommend too is having captions. Maybe you do have caption in other photos. Yeah, so that's what I would do is also add captions to your photos, maybe just one sentences. So that way people will stop and they're not just scrolling through like this, because you can still see it when you're doing this, right? If you're looking at 10 other properties, but if you have captions below, it'll slow them down and that will tell Airbnb that your listing is more interest, because they have an interest algorithm. They're starting to switch that a little bit, but still, the longer you can keep someone on your listing, the more it's telling Airbnb that this is
That's another
interesting.
thing. That's another thing, right? This shows a professional from a professional to the difference between a professional and an amateur. Hung is so deep into this. He's so obsessed with this that he literally even studies the Airbnb algorithm. Guys, you cannot do that being an amateur. You cannot do that not caring about your business. Like you gotta understand those things. Did they change anything? Right? What like those things like you cannot and it's not something like you gotta do some research. You gotta watch YouTube videos, you gotta Google stuff. You get like guys, do market research, man.
Yeah,
That was so
and
good, huh? Like, those are the little
like
things like you can scroll over because you do it so often, but people don't even think about these things, bro.
yeah, and sometimes I think like, oh man, I feel like I don't know enough. And then sometimes when I vomit on people, I'm like, oh yeah, I think I know a little bit of
Yeah.
something. So, but yeah, like for instance, like this property, for example, honestly, everything is really beautiful. It just needs like some defining like some defining either design or some defining colors to really separate everything. Because right now everything looks a little bit like really bland,
Right.
right? And I'll be honest, 103 photos is a lot. Like if you take, I would either cut it down by half at least, and that will show you just the amount that you would typically need, right? Um, and then like I said, some colors in here. Maybe something. Here's something that you can really do to define something, like to define a room. A rug. Like I would get a rug to define a room. I wasn't always like a huge rug guy, but my designers have proved me wrong. And then also, if you put like, you can paint a whole wall. Like here's how you can really like make a room pop. You design a whole backdrop of this to match the throw pillow. You know how amazing that thing would like pop out, right? Like now your throw pillows are a kind of like an extension of what the accent walls look like. And so it just makes it pops out a lot when you like retake those photos. I don't think this light is on, so I think that's probably one thing that you might be missing there. Again, like nothing's wrong here. Good, the rugs. Again, you just need a defining space. Honestly, every bedroom should have a designing space. This just is to me. I mean, for what I am, what my standards are, I don't typically just leave it like that.
Right.
Like this room right here, this wall right here, it's a perfect like opportunity to do something like an accent wall or something like that.
Right.
So
Man, I hope
again,
you're
all of
taking
these,
notes, Kadir. I
yeah.
hope you're
So
taking notes.
all of these are great. Also, one thing I would also do too is put them in order. Like put the pictures like if someone was to walk through the whole house as they're going from 1 to 103. Because they know they don't live there, so they don't know what's the order and what's the layout of the house. So if you can
Right.
lay it out for them, like that would make it even more even better for conversion, because what you're trying to do is have as least of a friction as possible. And even now I think like we're gonna probably start putting videos in some of the properties as well. So we might like do a video and we'll have a QR code, and that
That's
will
a
help
game
with
changer,
the
man.
so that will help with like a lot of the trust, because
Yeah.
over like 40% of Airbnb guests that are booking are new guests. Like
Yeah.
they're brand new to the Airbnb community, so they
And
don't know.
this is why even on things like Instagram platforms and whatnot, videos works better because people are so visual. Like, can you
Mhm,
imagine if you were going to Disneyland in Paris? I'm not talking about the fake Disneyland you have out here. The reason I'm saying that is because I grew up in Europe, guys. The
mhm.
real Disneyland is in Paris, all right? But if you were to go to Disneyland, but like you could have that, video travel experience in 3D, you know what I'm saying? Before you go out there, like you're like you will get more excited about the trip. You know what I'm saying? So that would be dope, huh? I love that idea.
Yeah, and then here, under here, I would put a bonfire, something for people to gather, and that would
Oh,
help really tie this together.
well, you gotta be
And
using boom, boom, boom every time you drop
yeah,
this kind of. Bro. You can't
and
just.
also one thing too, um, obviously when you have the photographer take the photo, um, there's a fire is not going to be lit, but what you can ask the photographer to do is edit a fire in there. So like for instance,
Damn.
for instance, like for us, here I'll stop sharing really quick. I'll go back here. Like this is one of our backyards at one of our property. Look, I'll show you. I've been covering this the whole time. That's our bonfire right there. Guess what? The fire is not on when they took the picture. We just have it edited in there, just so that way people can kind of like feel what this space can look like. And you see the sky. It wasn't. It wasn't like nighttime when they took this. He edited this in there, and all
Yep.
of these other lights as well. The lights were on, obviously, but he definitely made it like, feel more at nighttime, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
all of these things can be edited in there. You just have to ask and request your photographer to kind of do those things. Um, uh, I think the things is starting pretty soon. So I think that's some of the things that I
Guys,
would definitely do.
yeah. Listen, people are visual beings. People are
Yeah.
visual beings. Like you want them to travel into your property before they even get there. You want them to imagine it themselves living in there. So that's another thing. You cannot go cheap on hiring professionals. You cannot go cheap on hiring. Listen to me, man. If you're doing your first Airbnb, you should never manage and design and furnish your own first Airbnb. You don't have experience. Don't manage, furnish, and design your own first Airbnb with no experience. Hire a professional. All right, guys. And if you need all those resources, reach out to me, reach out to Hung. We're bringing a lot of value to you guys. I promise you. We have something in the back cooking for you in the secret room. We'll announce it next week. But listen, if you need any of these services, I promise you, we got you. Just hit us up on all the platforms: Instagram, YouTube, um, Chit Chat, Snapchat. I'm on Snapchat. I know Hung is not. Because guys, I'm doing the 10x thing when it comes to the marketing. I love the Grant Cardone's philosophy. That's what I go by when it comes to being online. Be present all over. You're gonna soon hear me speaking Mandarin. Believe it or not, I promise you, you will. Anyway, bro, this was so good. This was so good. So, guys, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave us a comment if you enjoyed this. Please take a picture or a screenshot or whatever. Share it with other people, right? If you got value out of this, there's probably somebody out there sitting there and they wish they could also learn the same way you're learning right now. So please don't be greedy with the algorithm. Mr. Hung, this was so good, like always, bro. So good. One last word before we get the heck out of here.
Um, adapt. Like the quicker you can adapt on everything right now is how you're gonna survive and how you're gonna thrive in this situation nowadays. Be quick to adapt and don't keep saying, don't adopt the old ways of like, this is how it's always been, right? Like that's how you go out of business is by saying those things. So adapt as quickly as possible and talk to people if you don't know something, because again, we don't know what we don't know. So
You
until
don't
we
know
can
what
talk
we're
to the
gonna.
right people, then we can figure that step out. And so don't let the lack of information hold you back. Talk to people who know what they're doing, and just do something with them or bring value to them, so that way they can help you out as well. Because this next 12 months is going to be a huge opportunity for all of us that's watching this right now, and for you especially if you're trying to make 2024 the year where nothing is the same. Like if someone were to look at you from 24 or 2024 to now, they're not going to recognize you, right? Like
Right,
that's what it should be, and that's what you should strive for, honestly.
right. Guys, Hung is always dropping some Hung mic bombs. Hung bombs. I'm telling you, man, bro, you got bars. But you gotta take the habit of saying boom, boom, boom right after that. Come on, bro.
Boom, boom, boom.
I'm gonna create some effects. So every time we say something heavy, you're gonna see like bombs dropping, guys. What Hung just said, guys, Bruce Lee said it long time ago. Be like water, my friend. Flow, all right? What guys, I'm telling you, I'm so like, listen, man, guys, please just take action, share with other people, don't be greedy. I promise you guys, one tip I'm gonna leave with you guys that has nothing to do with Airbnb. Every single time you feeling low in energy, you feel bad, I promise you, try this. Try to find somebody else to help that day. Your energy will skyrocket, guys. I do, like, sometimes I wake up, I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel good. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just, my head is all like froggy. Guys, I just find somebody to help. I call a newbie on my Zoom. We hop on, I help them, I shake them, I punch them in the face so they can go freaking make some calls. And I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. All right, guys. So stay bold, be bold. Until next time. Peace.
Later.
Later, alligator.